Right, good afternoon, folks. How are we doing? So, I've still been struggling to get that last upload swiped off of Facebook with regards to Jon Wedger, but I thought I'd go like back because it's a bit selective on Bill Maloney's channel. A lot of the content has been taken down, although some strange stuff that I believe should be taken down is still up there. But hey ho, in this madness, don't even try and make sense of it. It's all a big grift. That's about the only sense that there is out of this. That's the only common denominator and strange fundamental Christian weirdo beliefs. Not saying Christians have got weirdo beliefs, but these types do. These types do. So I found something on BitChute going back to, I believe it was like March 2018. Now, it was either March or April, can't remember off the top of my head. Now, I'm damn sure that Maloney bought him, he'd already been on Brian Gerrish, because Brian Gerrish brings all of these shysters to us. So this was just shortly before or shortly after the walking whistle blowing dickhead, like that Pie Mash bought us, that charlatan. Hmm. So, yeah, here we go.
Everyone, and welcome to Remolody Reports. I'm here this morning with a very special guest.
Yeah, not that special. Not that special. But anyway, you do you.
Jon Wedger, a detective from Scotland Yard and the London Metropolitan Police. He's here to speak with us this morning about a variety of subjects, including the unhappy, regrettable, but very important subjects of child abuse, child trafficking, child prostitution rings.
No, he isn't. No, he isn't. So that's how educated you are, you nasty old witch. No such thing as that, is there? You have to give consent. You have to give consent. Hmm? So it isn't that, is it? You filthy woman.
In London and whistleblowing, because the reason Jon Wedger is here this morning is because he
Whistle blowing. Oh, God. Is he just going to rinse and repeat? We're going in blind here. We're going in blind. This was just what I found off a BitChute. Um, Look how fat he is now, though, compared with where he was then. Woohoo!
is a police whistleblower. We're very fortunate to have him.
We're there, like living grand off of a pig's back. But you still can't. What is the other cliche? The other little terminology. You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. That is also Jon Wedger. He's not a whistleblower.
Speaking out. I'm very honored to that he has joined us on this show. Jeff Godwin is supposed to join us, but he's been having major computer problems this morning.
Who the hell
We're
is
going
that?
to hope that he can join us at some point.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to research that. Jeff Godman. Oh no.
But if not, we'll just go ahead and get started this morning. So good morning, Jon.
Oh my
Thanks so much for
God. Was this when? Look what he's wearing. He's wearing that god awful checky hoodie. I'm sure that's the same damn hoodie that he wore when he done the AV, whatever it was. You know, like when all the charlatans used to meet up once a year and charge you like 600 notes. That crap.
joining me this morning.
Good morning, Romola. It's a pleasure. I'm retired. I'm an ex-detective. Retired.
You're a
Hmm.
former detective. That's all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. But you still have so much from your
Yeah, but I'm absolutely. You're retired at this stage in the early part of 2018. Hmm. It's always been really difficult to pinpoint down when you actually left the police. Look at his. And I'm sorry, that little look on his face. I'm retired. Are you, John? Were you? At this point, short of his fancy dress lineup, I mean, he could have been in the police 3 weeks for all we know.
experience to report. As you know, this morning I was listening to your interview with Brian Gerrish of Insight and reading some of the articles, profile.
Of course you was. I've been looking on your channel. You've had every conspiracy nut known to man. Cat, dog, gerbil, budgie, hamster, feral rodent. You're in it all. Tits deep, darling. Tits deep.
Your work. And I'm very impressed that you've
Work.
been doing this for a long time. How long have you been working with, how long has this issue been on your plate? The whole issue of
Well,
child trafficking, etc.
I retired from the police last year. I served for 25 years.
So he retired in 2017 then, if that's what he's saying. I'm sure that doesn't add up with other things that he said. Oh, so many hours of him. So many hours of him.
Majority of that was as a detective, as an investigator. I specialised in interview skills and child abuse, protection matters, and I was also on quite an elite little unit. It was a vice unit in London. I initially whistleblew
I doubt very much there is anything elite about anything that Jon Wedger has done.
in 2006, and that was on a case of child prostitution.
No such thing. No such thing. Right, trigger warnings, guys. It is Jon Wedger. I'll over 18s this. I'll over 18s it just because of the crap that he comes out with. He's bound to come out with, I don't know. He's going to be the same old.
I was asked to look into an allegation made by a young girl. She was about 13 at the time that she was being pimped out. And she'd made allegations in the past but hadn't been believed. And they wasn't really taking it seriously. They said, she may well be telling a lie.
Oh, God. This again. When a person went to prison.
She wasn't. She then put me in touch with another girl that was working and another girl, and it just mushroomed. One girl gave another girl, gave another girl. And then it was a well-established and well-organised child prostitution ring involving girls between the age of 9 to 14.
No such thing. No such thing. Oh, God.
They're all subject to care orders, all in the care system, the child protection system in the UK. A lot of them had absent parents or parents that were drug addicts. That's why they were easy prey.
So are you saying these were foster care children? These were children in the foster care system? Or?
No, not foster, because foster kids are being looked after.
Okay, they were actually in homes. Okay.
Yeah, they were either being monitored by social services because of dysfunctionality in the home, or they were actually in children's homes.
Okay.
Some of them were in like foster placements, but it varied. But they were all known by our social services, and they're all looked at as being vulnerable. So I drafted a report on what was going on, and there was all sorts of people involved at every level of society. This was
all sorts of people, but I'm not going to name any. Remember that? Not going to name anyone because I can't remember. I'm making it all up. I'm making it up.
In and around central London.
Okay.
I myself at the time was a single parent of 4 children.
Oh God.
And
world's tiniest violin, John. You're not the only one. Go fuck yourself. No one else wants to.
I generally thought that when I made this disclosure that I would be treated favourably by my bosses, if not.
So you was looking for arse pats, yeah? You're making it all up anyway, but
praised. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was summoned to see a very high-ranking officer who
I'm not going to name. Can't name them. Because then there might be some court cases against me for, I don't know, bloody slander. Oh my God. We've been putting up with this shit since 2018. It's 2022 now. When is he gonna go away?
Who threatened me? One second.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh my God, look at that stage. You knew how to pause something. Mobile phone technology has moved along since then, and it's baffled him ever since. You can't get anything outside of portrait. You can't do any of that.
Right.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of light behind.
Right, sorry.
Yeah,
I just got coming in. Yeah. One of my boys, and so I was threatened with the loss of my job, the placement of my children, and also my home if ever I mentioned anything.
Now, these were direct verbal threats from the senior police officer.
Yeah, and I'm being polite about it, but how it was said to me was that I'm not going to swear, but what you've uncovered, John, is going to F us, past, present, and future. This cannot and will not get out. If you mention a word of this, you will lose your job, your kids, your home. Shut your effing mouth. And I was then told that if I ever sort of said anything,
hang on, I'm just going to have to look into this a bit more. We can let him ramble on. He's gone on there and he said that he retired recently, so I'm taking that as being 2017, as this is the early part of 2018, and he served 25 years. Well, we need to go look back on when he said he joined the police. I'm going to let this play out. Hang on.
respect to bullying, that the report would go in the bin anyway.
So in other words, the work that you had done in uncovering this child prostitution ring, the disclosure you were bringing to the table was found to be unwelcome by senior police officers. They didn't want to investigate it further.
Well, I was told you have no idea what or who you're dealing with. And what I'd found was that this matter had been going on unchecked for decades. You know, and they hadn't tasked anyone with dealing with it.
Can any of us remember when he said he joined the police? Because to have done 25 years, that would have been 1992 he joined. How old is he? Him and his timeline, it's so difficult to try and pinpoint him down because he makes everything so loose.
They have a police unit, a squad for near enough every form of criminality, but child prostitution, there was nothing. Now, this wasn't the first time that I'd been warned off for looking into offences against children. Only a few years before that, I was tracking down transient paedophiles.
No, you weren't. We know that's not true, John. We know that's not true. You were desk duty on an already ongoing investigation on the canal boats. Oh, his whole internet persona of being a whistleblower and giving a crap about anyone has been on the foundation of a house made of lies.
Closed down, and I was then told by a very seasoned and senior Scotland Yard detective at the time.
Name him. Oh no, you can't do that. That would be proper whistleblowing, wouldn't it?
You know, you've got to be careful when you're looking into this crime, because if you do good at it, they come down and they stamp on you. And he told me about...
I would love to see his disciplinary paperwork, because he has to have it. It's in his possession. What did they really get rid of him for? Because didn't he say he was off sick? He said before he was off sick with PTSD because of all the bullying. Like, I'd love to see it. Love to see it. But again, he's not going to provide a single piece of paperwork, is he? Of course he's not. Checks and balances.
A member of Margaret Thatcher's cabinet, a politician in Margaret Thatcher's cabinet that was a paedophile and was involved in sex crimes against children that they'd investigated.
Not an ounce of proof about that. None whatsoever.
Twice and been shut down. So what was apparent was that this was going right to the heart of the establishment. Now, when that was shut down, I was then had to take...
That's a little bit of like lack of satanic ritual abuse at this point.
A verbal agreement that I would never look into child prostitution.
Even though he did bring it up, well, Bill Maloney looked like his handler on that. Bill Maloney looked like his handler on that when he starts going on about SRA.
Prostitution again. I broke that agreement and I moved to another unit and looked into it again. And I went to a certain area, a poor area of London I was working in on child protection.
Pick an area, any area, it's London.
where I asked my line manager, is there a problem with child prostitution? And he said, no, there's never been a problem.
That's really funny terminology for a policeman, an ex-policeman. He's line manager. It's not Walmart, mate. Do you mean your superior?
Don't go looking for it, it's not there. Within a day,
Uh-oh.
I'd found 6 kids that were working as prostitutes. By the end of the week, I'd found 50.
No, you really hadn't, because that doesn't exist. And you really hadn't. He's disgusting. Ugh.
I held a meeting with all the social workers.
Yeah, he really didn't do that either. Not a single one of these people has come, and they'd all be coming up to retirement now. We're going back eons ago. Like, none of them have come up and said, "Oh yeah, I worked with Jon Wedger. I remember that meeting." Not a single one. Not a single one of these children that he's supposed to have helped. Not a single one has come back as an adult and gone, "If it wasn't for Jon Wedger." He's such a liar.
The non-government organisations that had some sort of governance.
Now, I've done some stuff like outside of the things that I talk about here, way before this YouTube channel, and people have watched me like get absolutely like ripped on the internet and have said, "Look, this doesn't sit well with me. I want to come on and I want to talk about what we were doing 12 years ago or what we were doing 10 years ago, however long it might have been." And I'm fiercely protective of those people, that I don't want this internet crap to go and be aimed at people that have been through the ringer. I don't want that for them. But you would think he's talking about 50 children here. And that's just the start of it to Lord Baby Jesus Jon Wedger. You'd think one would turn up now.
Children. And again, I was threatened. I was threatened and bullied into silence again. So it happens time and time again. Now, I officially whistle blew and made allegations of corruption against the police for covering this up.
Paperwork.
In 2014, because there was a scandal in the UK involving a man called Jimmy Savile.
Look at that. Didn't even have it in his head until 2014. What a surprise. Oh, Coal Beach, anyone? Coal Beach, Andrew Ash.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're all familiar with that.
Are you?
Which then sort
Probably
of gave
not.
me the backbone, really, to stand up and say, right, enough. And I made a criminal allegation. But as soon as I did that, that's when.
Can we see it? The criminal allegation. Can we see it? Where was that filed? It should be in the public domain. I want to see it. I want to FOI it. Stop lying.
The attack on me really occurred.
Oh.
And over the ensuing 3 years, the police have tried to remove my youngest child. They've stopped paying me. I nearly lost my house on 3 occasions.
Don't lie. That's not true, because you said you were on full pay, then 3/4 pay, then half pay, and I guess that's what happens when you're continuously off sick.
And they've tried to prosecute me on 9 occasions.
Paperwork. Anyone? Dust. Anyone? Oh, I'm showing my age there, Little Britain.
And I've also then linked in with campaigners, victims and survivors of abuse that I work closely with.
Don't lie. Why, I absolutely know there's a video out there of you that says that you knew Bill Maloney whilst you were an acting police officer. So don't make out you've connected up with them since you've not been a police officer. Shut up.
Working with politicians that actually do care. And then I started to meet up with whistleblowing social workers, doctors, priests, imams, and more importantly, other whistleblowing detectives who
Don't lie. I do know police officers that got in touch with you and wanted to band together with you because they'd been given the shitty end of the stick as well. and you told them to jeff off. The limelight was all yours. Yours, 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 and only yours. Such a liar. And he's at this point he's living off of the coattails of Maggie Oliver.
Blue on child prostitution
And her story isn't exactly what it's been made out to be, but she's not as bad as this one.
cover-ups, and were bullied in an identical manner as myself. So identical that it was almost a mirror image of what had happened to me happened to them. So what I decided to do was get us all together, because on our own they isolate us.
Oh no, this did happen. There was like a conference, a whistleblowing police conference, and for him it didn't go very well at all. At all. I believe he was removed because he got off his face and was just like ridiculous.
They attack us, they silence us, and they bully us. And I think the ultimate goal here is they want to push you into suicide, because one of the police officers' greatest fears is going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And they prosecute you.
Yeah, imagine, especially if you're bent, right, John? Mm-hmm. I hope you do go to prison, because you're a moral criminal. How no one's pinned anything on you, I don't know. It's weird.
And then what happens is you're looking, the offences they go for it, data protection violations, which are going to get you a prison sentence.
This is
and every officer that I dealt with, they were treated in the same manner. They all faced prison, you know. And again, like I was saying before to you, that the prison system in the UK, it may be similar in the US, that we've got a 75 to 80% recidivism rate, a reoffending rate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've got 75 to 80% of the prison population have been affected by child abuse, albeit the more of the broader spectrum of child abuse, the physical abuse, the emotional, and ultimately the sexual abuse. But again, this same amount. We've got a 75 to 80% illiteracy rate in our prison system. You know, the whole thing doesn't work, you know, and the children are just a commodity. They're a commodity in two ways. They make a lot of money for those that are employed to deal with this matter. The solicitors, the care workers, the whole genre makes a lot of money, especially the court system. And also the children are a commodity to those that want to use their services sexually, you know. The children are the gold. This is what they want, the children. Now, I've just walked from London to Manchester.
Oh, okay, it's after.
With my pet dog on a campaign walk to raise awareness for greater protection for police whistleblowers. Well, that's wrong, in fact, protection, because we have no protection. The British police are not subject to any employment law, right? So they do what they want with us. We're not allowed a union. We're not allowed to talk to the press. Really? You know, and the internal regulations are so archaic that even turn up for work on time can be constituted as an offence. It's just horrendous. And the effort they put into attacking you is unprecedented.
Yeah, although he got a payout.
This is shocking. Everything that you're reporting is absolutely shocking, because basically you're talking about massive retaliation when the police step forward to report anything that's, you know, going wrong, report evidence of lack of attention to a major social problem such as child prostitution or child trafficking. And major shutting down of the person with major retaliation. And the fact that you don't have protection, that the police do not have protection. There's no legal protection for whistleblowers then. There's no ombudsman. There's no...
So he didn't get a payout then? Shut up.
No independent person overseeing any kind
it's good that you're saying ombudsman, because now I'm one of 3 officers that are now instigating the appointment of an ombudsman via the parliamentary process. Now, it's quite funny because how our political system works, we have cabinet ministers that are appointed for certain aspects of
Sorry, guys. I'm just going to turn my microphone off. I've got to blow my nose.
genres of society, and one of them is there is a cabinet minister for policing and crime. Now, I went to him and said, look, there's a cover-up. The police aren't investigating my claims.
Paperwork, John, paperwork.
Attacking me. Even the independent police, I don't know, the IPCC crime.
He doesn't know, but he sings their praises now because he was on their panel, right? Devalued the whole damn thing. But anyway, no one held much weight there, did they?
Commission, they call it, whatever. They're an independent investigative body. They were refusing to look into my claims
because it was
so
bullshit.
The Home Office, the matter was taken to the Home Office. So this cabinet minister took me to a meeting with the Home Office. The Home Office took my
you've had a meeting with the Home Office. That doesn't exist. The Home Office as a body exists, and I've had meetings with representatives of the Home Office. But you just had a meeting with the Home Office, right? I've got paperwork that's come from the Home Office, but it's got someone's name on it.
file and promised to investigate it independently, and now they've claimed they've lost the file.
Of course.
And shortly after the meeting with them, this cabinet minister was removed from his post as policing minister and appointed elsewhere. You know, and even he says it is a cover-up. He went on to BBC Radio and to specifically say that he's working with me, Jon Wedger, to bring about this independent ombudsman, but also that there is a massive cover-up. You know, my
was that John Hemming, I wonder? Might not have been. Could be wrong. Don't know.
focus is solely on child abuse and child prostitution cover-ups.
Mm-hmm.
But there will be a wider aspect of it, but I can only deal with what I can, you know.
Absolutely, and I think you're doing such a great deal. I mean,
But, well, the other thing, Romola, sorry to interrupt you, even because of my campaign, I got invited out to Amsterdam by Frank Serpico. Do you know the New York detective? They made the film Serpico.
Yeah, and he probably didn't realise what fraudster you were. But anyway, bums on seats, right?
Yes,
Al
yes,
Pacino
rings a definite bell. I
No,
don't
it
know enough
doesn't.
about the
And don't lie, she hasn't got a clue. No one would.
story, but do enlighten me.
He was
ain't got
NYPD
clue.
detective back in the 60s, early 70s, and he exposed corruption in the force, and his own officers shot him.
Oh no!
And they made I think it was an Oscar-winning film, and Al Pacino played Frank Serpico. He's of Italian descent, and he heard about my plight by
Your plight. Fuck off. Your plight. Wrap it up. What a dick.
the internet and invited me out to give a presentation on whistleblowers. So
brilliant.
he was like the pioneer of whistleblowing, as it were, police whistleblowing.
Yeah, all right.
So even across different decades and even across the oceans and things like that, we are uniting, you know.
Yes, I'm
and
really happy to see that too. People are coming forward. Police whistleblowers, of course, are very few and far between, but the ones who are coming forward, I think it's fantastic that you were trying to bring a whole
The police whistleblowers that do come forward, they actually have some names and they don't grift and have fake foundations and make up stories. I mean, just throwing it out there.
bunch of police whistleblowers in London together. How did you find each other?
Well, it goes bigger than that, because
Of course it does. It's job.
like I said, I did the campaign walk,
Mhm.
and when you've got all the police officers were bullied unanimously in the same identical way, I went on the walk. I had campaign t-shirts. We had, you know, all stuff highlighting what we was doing.
Mhm.
Walking along the Canassis,
To be honest, it didn't really have Brian Gerrish and Bill Maloney touting him around. That was about it. Another grifter that was introduced.
and the journey was meant to take 12 days. It was 270 miles. We did it in 8 days, and along the way we were met by people, and the response was heartbreaking. So many of them.
What a joke. What a joke. Didn't happen.
were victims in society, you know, victims of the abuse. And it just shows how much this is impacting the public. We didn't have one dissenter, not one person denigrated us. Everyone praised
Well, that changed, didn't it? Everybody looked into your story and realised it was horseshit.
us. We even had a chapter of Hell's Angels come along, donate money, and offer to walk along with us, which just goes.
Money, 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 money. What's money going to do, John? What was money going to do to help, apart from you, of which you did help yourself to all the money, to spend it on Facebook, raising your profile and sending out your personal bank details, like a photo of your bank card to people, so that they could give you the big bucks. Didn't help anyone though, did it?
To show, you know, how much that we are
Everybody
supported.
cares. Yes, everybody cares about children.
Yeah, and how much we are supported. Whereas if the
Yes, everybody does care about children, apart from Jon Wedger, who cares about himself and his ego and his arse pats and his bank balance.
police would have had their way, we would all been put in prison.
Oh,
you know,
my.
so it's the people, if they've had enough of this, they need to write to their police departments, they need to write to their politicians, and they need to highlight our plight.
Like that's ever helped anything.
And back us for what we're doing.
That's
They
a
need to
very
do it
brilliant
because-
point to underline. That you guys, the police whistleblowers, definitely need the support, the avid support, the very public support of people. You know,
Can we think of one police whistleblower that Jon Wedger has raised profile with, apart from the Legren guy in Salisbury, who already had that profile anyway, and he jumped on them coattails? Like, has he supported a single police whistleblower? We had anyone? No. What he's done, he's surrounded himself with fucking criminals and god bashers.
the normal civilian populace, the non-police population.
Well, at the end of the day, we live in a democratic society. Our final arbiter to all this is going to be the public. You know, and if the public are fed up of this, then they need to do something about it. I can only do so much, as can the others. You know, they need to do.
What others? You've done nothing, John. You've done nothing. Give it up. Fuck off. Go away. Go and carry on encouraging people to look at disgusting films and images of children being subjected to the worst illegal acts going. Go on Charlie Ward's. We haven't even started with Charlie Ward. I've downloaded some stuff of his today. What a fucking shyster that one is.
And, you know, there's, you know, a famous saying by a man called Edmund Burke: in order for the triumph of evil,
Oh, God.
it takes but for good men to do nothing.
Yeah, blah, blah. We've heard it all before. And you're not a good man, and you've done precisely nothing.
Nothing.
You know, and this is what we're doing. You know, to do nothing is not an option. If we do nothing, children get hurt.
But you've done precisely nothing, apart from take people's money and raise your profile. I find it absolutely outstanding that you've got 35,000 subs on your YouTube channel, but yet you get 1,000, 1,500 views. Did the money go on buying subs as well? Because we can all do it. We can all do it. We know how much money you spent on Facebook. You told us it was to raise your profile. You, and don't forget about Yoo-hoo.
They continue to get. Our society is rotting because of child abuse. And if you look at violence, gun crime, knife crime, now those committing it may well come from abused backgrounds, as I mentioned earlier.
They may or they may not.
You know, harbouring all this hatred and this anger and this inability to process the most heinous things that have been done to them. Okay, that might not help normal, decent, middle class white society.
Here he goes again. Gotta hate the middle classes. Anyone who's got a few more extra pennies than him, yeah, you're complicit. You greedy bastards.
But what will hurt them is when their children is a victim to this violence, to the robberies, to the muggings, to the stabbing. So it affects everyone.
It does. And you know what I know we talked a little bit earlier about it, and you were doing such a
There's a real lack of God in this. When's the God gonna come in?
great job explaining, and I wish I had been recording, but I didn't. So I wonder if you could cover a little bit what you talked about that cycle. How exactly does that cycle work? And you know,
Oh,
how do you
I can't.
connect it
I
to
can't. It's pissing me off. Let's skip a bit. We haven't got all year for the same old hashing thing.
It's a movement of a person from one place to another place. Now, I went to a policing, I forget what we call it, agency, and I said, look, this is trafficking. These children have been taken from a care home and they're being taken to places.
So not prostitution then, trafficking. Oh, okay. Stop using that then. Oh yeah, but all these years on, you still use it. Weirdo pervert.
Of prostitution, whether it be a restaurant at night, whether it be a crack house, whether it be wherever. That's trafficking. Like, they didn't want to know. And the same man who said, oh no, it's not in our remit, he was on the television a week later in Cambodia giving his opinion on trafficking of children.
Name him. Name him. Oh no, won't.
And I thought, well, you're being paid. Where are you staying? You'd be staying in a nice hotel. You probably had a business class trip to Cambodia at
But don't forget what you told Michael Tarriger after you like upset everyone at the RAF base. That you were undercover agent, like in the illegal trade of snake trafficking. I mean, come on, man, shut up.
no expense to taxpayer to deal with someone else's problem when you've got it on your doorstep. I
Wow.
highlighted and you didn't want to know. You know,
Name him then. Let's have checks and balances, accountability. Come on, John. You're asking the public here to go and contact the local authorities, the police, the MPs, their parliamentarians. You're asking them to do that, and you're giving us examples here, but you're not giving us a pin to pin on someone, are you? Ugh.
the whole
the
thing.
height of
And then,
irony?
but
Is it?
Ramona, I like to think, without being conceited, I'm one of the good guys, you know.
Yes.
I
You fucking are not.
stood up and said not in my name, as the other whistleblowers did.
Oh
Mm,
God.
We got attacked.
yeah.
You know,
Oh God! Change the fucking record skipping. I'm getting bored now. Sorry, guys.
one person to investigate that.
Blah blah.
That's incredible.
How is that right? When they've got squads that deal with all sorts of things, you know, and yet not one person was dedicated to deal with child prostitution, and it is massive. I mean,
Because it's trafficking, you filthy animal.
and my walk highlight how many people have been affected by this abuse.
Oh really?
And do you
did
So
it?
many.
Yeah, and do you see it actually all over London, all over England? What is your assessment?
Well, it's everywhere. I mean, these grooming gangs have been exposed.
What is
In
grooming, by the
provincial-
way? I've noticed that word in news
Gro-
reports as
groom-
well.
Oh my God! You're the interviewer and you don't know even basic things like that. I mean, come on, this is 2018. We knew what that meant. You're not. Well, maybe you are brand new. Skipping. Getting the ump now. Come on, it's 38 minutes long already. Where's it end?
We are seeing it now. The Jimmy Savile thing was
God,
a
shut
main
up.
sort of expose on how deep this all goes and the people that were involved in it, and that was a major defining moment in how it has been covered up, and that it has.
And you jumped on that coattail and come up with all this crap. And you've never left it alone since. Not one single person has been saved. Yeah. Thanks, John. Although you've exploited victims, haven't you? For your YouTube channel. You've done that, haven't you? You subsequently went on to do that from where we are at the moment. Yeah, nice one, John. You scum.
What was deemed incredulous has now become not acceptable, but people understand that it goes on.
People
Whereas before,
understand it. People actually
you
have
know,
an insight into the fact that this is
Yeah.
actually happening.
I mean, like Jimmy Savile, you know, the classed him as a saint. You know, he built hospitals, he ran marathons for children. This man would never do that. He even wrote books on child abuse. you know, and this was, but those around him knew it, and he was reported to the police, and these police officers covered up. I was
Uh-oh.
one of the things that has been coming out was an area in London called Dolphin Square,
Oh, here we go. Wish someone to zip you up in a bag.
which is the very upmarket house.
Was that too much? Yeah, it probably was too much. I don't wish someone any harm whatsoever, but come on, man.
Housing block of flats, sort of apartment block area, just meters away from the House of Parliament, where the MPs would be housed. There's a lot of
It's not really meters away, is it? But anyway.
peers, there's a lot of lords, MPs, and all sorts residing there.
Okay.
Now, there's been allegations coming out from many sources.
Ben Fellows.
The victims come forward saying that they were taken there to various
Ben Fellows.
MPs' flats and they were raped and abused in sex parties.
Oh my
Right.
Whatever happened to Boaty McBoatface? And the world tour and the taking over the internet. That grifter.
Now, I was approached by a police officer who worked in a policing district that covered this area of central London, and he said to me, John, there was a meeting was held, all the officers were brought
Name him.
in, a superintendent came down, so a high-ranked officer came down and said to us, if anyone is caught patrolling that area or stopping any persons or cars coming in or out, they will face discipline and possible dismissal from the force. Stay away from it.
That is
So-
shocking. That's sort of in
I don't hear about this anymore, do we? I wonder why.
your
mean,
face
it
criminality.
is. But, you know, shame, they know what they've done, and shame on them. Shame on them,
Yeah, shame on you, John. You know what you've done as well, you grifting git.
because the victims are having their say now. And what I would say to everyone listening
What? Like Jeanette Archer? Yeah, alright. Yeah, nice one. Well done. Mm-hmm.
to this is that come forward, do it in a right way.
Oh, look, he's still on the Bill. This is his early days before his ego has gone completely crazy. I mean, it's there. We can see it's the early embryonic state of the ego on legs that he is now. But yeah, he's just got the mantra of Bill Maloney at the moment.
Do it in a measured way, but do it in a forthright way, you know, and demand that the whistleblowers like myself are given protection. Because if we are not given the right protection,
You don't need any protection. Shut up.
whether you like the police or you hate them, the victims never stand a chance. There is no hope for the victims getting any justice if us whistleblowers are bullied. We need your.
You're not a whistleblower though, because you've never named anyone. So who are you actually talking about here? Oh, your fucking self.
backing.
Absolutely.
Write to your MPs, write to the commissioners,
Does that
you
work?
know, write to the House of Lords, write to whoever, but do it in a measured and
When's that ever helped? When has that ever helped anything? The Iraq War, anyone? Protest, write to your MP, get in touch with the Home Office, whatever. It doesn't work.
you know, a respectful way. I mean, but you know, with the message that this has to stop.
Absolutely.
It has to stop.
Mhm.
But we will keep moving forward. We will keep campaigning. We will, you know, and we
Campaigning. Hashtag grifting. Hashtag grifting.
are gaining ground, but it is a very
you're not.
hard, arduous.
You've not gained any ground. You've not helped anyone. Oh, I sound like a broken record. He's getting on my nerves. Ugh.
And a dangerous journey, you know.
It is. It
Is
is.
it?
It certainly
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like it. And you shared with me, well, yeah, I think you shared with our viewing audience as well, so much of the retaliation that occurs, you know, when whistleblowers step up and actually speak out. But I think it's pretty brilliant that, you know, people inside the police force, like,
Do you find it pretty brilliant that the fucker took a load of money and is still begging for more? Do you find that brilliant? The very system that he was going up against, he actually done a deal with and took a pocket full of coins. He got his shekels there.
you, people of integrity and
Yeah, he's still grifting. So it's still his police pension, his job as a builder and a tree surgeon, and his shekels full from the court, which the taxpayer have paid. Still not enough money for him, though. It's not enough money for him, and not a penny of his own money has gone into anything.
Conscience and courage are speaking out, and that you are finding each other.
Yeah, but he's never given us another whistleblower. He's never given us a whistleblower. So he told them to fuck off. They wanted to support him in the early days, and then they all saw through him because of his reaction. This was my gig. Fuck off. Not having anyone encroaching in here.
And speaking out together en masse. I wanted to say, if you ever wanted to come back and bring more of the police whistleblowers you are working with.
Yeah, that didn't happen. He never did come back, and he didn't ever bring a police whistleblower with him. Yep, there's a big hole here in the bullshit story.
On together, that would be fantastic, because we would get really an insight into the good side of the police. You're right, the police very often gets a bad rap, but not all police are bad, and that's what you're here to prove to the world.
They're not, and
this one is.
Like I said to you,
the streets are safer without him.
Prior to it all, I will avoid and won't entertain these sweeping statements that, child stealing states, social workers steal children, police are masons and cover.
Not what he says now, though, is it? Not what he says now.
All this up. It's a nonsense. Yes, it goes on. It does go on. But you can't base everything on this, and you've got to stick to what you know. And there are some, I call.
Which in his case is actually jack shit, so of course the story can evolve, because it is just that, Jack and Ori story.
Call them lions. I've worked with police officers that are lions, that are so brave and so courageous.
That they won't put their name to your shit.
They will stand up to anything, in the name of the truth.
Unlike you, who won't mention anyone's name. Okie doke.
Lovely people. But on the other hand, I've met the most weaselly, snaky, horrible, verminous individuals.
Is that because you woke up one morning and looked in the mirror?
Individuals that would shop their own grandmother if they
Hello, John. Alice through the looking glass.
Could, And so you do have this balance. And it is a job that does attract good people that want to do well, but also attracts horrible people, and
like you, John.
Unfortunately, power does corrupt. Absolutely. And it does, I think.
Not as much as ego, though. Not as much as ego.
That's one of the things. If you give anyone dominion over someone else, they abuse it, and it has been proved. I mean, you had it in America with the Stanford Institute. What went on with
this was his early days of researching. Honestly, who doesn't know about the Stanford experiment? And actually, what went on in that film that they made about it wasn't completely 100% factually correct. But anyway, John, you do you. You don't mention this anymore, do you?
Like to the prisoner thing.
Yes, the Zimbardo and the Milgram, right? Experiments.
He's got no idea what that means. No idea. Look at him.
About the prison guards. And
that's it. Yeah. And this is what happens, and you see it in the police. You do see it. You know. But then the more you spend time, that's why I become a detective, to get away from the uniform side of it. But and I just found it. The child crime was where it all started and began. You didn't have to look any further. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to go to complex fraud inquiries, and everything else. It's with the children, but we can't rule out, like I said, the involvement of organised criminals. They will do.
What, your mates? The ones that you surround yourself with now? Yeah, you can't rule them out, can you, John?
Anything to make big money. And children are big money. There is bigger money.
And so is grifting on the internet. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
As heroin dealing, crack cocaine dealing, pornography, whatever, children get good money.
Children are being treated as a commodity, as you said, as a cash cow. They're being used as kind of cogs in the system.
Are you breaking up? Yeah.
I'm breaking up. Okay, I can't hear you very well either.
Oh my God.
I wonder why. I think the connection must be not very good.
Well, you're breaking up.
Right, thank God. Looks like that's done. Let's skip it a bit. Let's just get to the end of it. It's just bullshit.
Do the right thing.
How can people help you? How can people send
Oh,
donations your
here we
way?
go.
Or
Well, there's I've got a Just Giving page, which is still open. It's just Giving, and my surname Wedger, Wedger. You can, I think you can donate in foreign currency.
I'll look for it and stick the link below.
So, and all the money goes towards a alcohol and drug rehabilitation centre.
Nah, that wasn't true. They raised a shitload of money, and no, it really didn't all go on that. But anyway,
because so many victims end up,
we know he's a liar,
harbouring, addiction problems and things like that. But hopefully there will be more stuff come out, and just to support is brilliant. But we're doing it so this stops. So these,
and we're all these years on. Nada, nothing. Yeah. Tumbleweed. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, what is that I hear? Is it the lonely monk?
children don't get hurt anymore. That is my sole goal, and I'll
fucking liar. Sole goal, grifting. Grift, 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 and don't forget about the grift. Money, money, money. Arse Pat's ego, arse Pat's ego.
Continue doing it. God's given me a job to do, and I'm going.
Oh, we got there in the end. Got there in the end. Look at her simpy face. No, no, yes, John. Oh, yes, 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 yes.
I'm going to carry on doing it.
Jon, I thank you for your dedication and your commitment to helping these children. I think everybody who's watching probably thanks you. We need people like you on the police force.
You fucking don't.
And off, as a retired police officer, still addressing these issues. So thank you very much, and thank you for stepping forward and talking with me this morning.
It's quite all right.
Have a wonderful trip, and thanks so much, everybody, for watching. We'll see you again very soon. Thanks.
Hopefully speak to you soon.
Yeah, bye. Cool, what a pile of shit that was. Oh, how he's changed. The confidence in the grift grew. His ego grew. The bank balance grew. And he's still full of shit now. Still full of shit now. And still no one has been helped. Woo. Anyway, well, that was that. Retro Wedger. Yeah, anyway, that's me out. It's been the best part of an hour. Look after your lovely selves. Take care. Wrap up warm. It's still damn cold. Got my new work contract through today, so that's good. That came through. Done it snail mail, not email. Everything is in order, but they don't have what seems to be the way of the world anymore. They don't have the old smart casual dress code. Bugger! I've had to do my dry cleaning today. Back to suits and boots. But hey ho, that's all right. At least when you get home, the first thing you do is you get your suit off and you get in your jeans and your jumper, and you actually feel like you're at home. So I'm very pleased for that. Very, very pleased for that. Working from home is not for me. Not for me at all. You need that clear cut off of being at work and being at home. So yeah, I'm happy about it. So yeah, done and dusted. So look after your lovely selves, keep wrapped up warm. And I don't know, we've got no schedule at the moment. I'll catch you at some stage. Anyway, lots of love to you and yours, and take care. Bye bye.